Hello everyone, welcome back. We are here with Urza's Artificial Intelligence once again, and today we are going to make a new set in celebration of the spooky month. And yes, that does mean we are going back to Innistrad, and yes, it's a bit weird because we've just been there a year ago, if, we assume we're making fake sets that continue on from the current point in time of when this is recorded, but it's October. I gotta go to Innistrad. What else am I gonna do? It's gotta be done. So, we are today using the set name The Pumpkinfolk Witches of Innistrad, I believe is what it was. And I was very tempted to just do some, keyword jamming. This is something you see all the time with other AI stuff, where you just, throw a bunch of keywords in and try and get it to come up with something you want. I think that might end up with too many similar designs, so I don't really want that. And B, I like the deck name being the set name. I like that field to be used for that thing, and I don't want to. It's a personal choice. Feel free to have whatever fun you want to have with Urza's AI when you use it yourself. But for me, I wanted to come up with a name. So the name maybe is a little bit wordy because I wanted to get all my keywords in there, but I still wanted it to read as a name. So here we are. For today, we are using the most recent Innistrad, not most recent actually, we're using Midnight Hunt as our mana values for this set. We just map those mana values into our JSON string. We are not fixing the card types though, so, when we get to Meathook Massacre, it's going to be X black black, but it might not give us an enchantment. It might give us a creature or an artifact or whatever. Now, this does mean that we're probably more likely to see more sort of common things like creatures, instants, and sorceries, and probably less likely to see enchantments and artifacts and such. But, it's possible they can still show up. That's okay. Hopefully that's everything I wanted to talk about, and let's jump right in, because I always do too long of intros. Twin Familiar is a 1-mana elf scout. It's a 1/1 with, when Twin Familiar dies, return it to its owner's hand. Yeah, okay. Also, this art is wild. Dang. That is different than Wombo usually does. Not a style I usually expect from Wombo. Alright. Cool. Well, we'll keep that card. I do want to be moving a bit fast today. I know that I do ramble on, so it's probably not going to happen. But I'd like to try to be a bit fast today, just because I'd like to see if I can get through an entire set in one sitting, because it's something I've never actually done before. Touch of Karmic Justice. For 1 mana, it's an instant with kicker of 2 mana. Weird. And counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. So that's just a good counter spell. It doesn't need to have kicker, which is, I think I might re-roll this just because I want every part of the card to make sense and be relevant. Maybe that's asking a bit too much, and sometimes I'll break that rule, but that's what I think I'm going to go with today. I should say generally, my re-roll rule for today is just whatever the heck I feel like. I'm curating a set to make an interesting set, and if I think I want to re-roll a card, I get to. There's no fixed rules. When we do Limited Forging, our series where we generate cards and then play with them immediately, there are strict rules for what you can re-roll because it's supposed to be like opening a pack of cards. You don't get to decide what's in that pack of cards. You don't get to say, this card's bad, I'm going to throw it back and get a new one. But here, we are putting our designer hats and we are going to try and make a set. As such, these cards need to have at least some use case, and I can do whatever else I want. Halloween Cantrip is a white mana. Halloween Cantrip for 1 white is an instant. Target opponent exiles a card from their graveyard. This sucks, right? They get to choose what the card is. It's not even a cantrip. If this drew you a card, relevant. And it's called Halloween Cantrip. That would have been great. I'm re-rolling this friend. Quicksilver Haunting. For 1 white is an instant. Quicksilver Haunting deals 1 damage to any target. Boring, but fine. I can't spend all day getting new cards for this. The Spider Folk hold the witches in awe. They wish to bring forth our soul, so that they may study our inhuman lust for eternity. Paya, Witch of the Falling Leaf Pub. There's so much flavor in that. Whoa! I hope we see Spiderfolk. I think the odds are very, 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 very slim, but that would be awesome if we do. I hope we see the... wouldn't it be great if we saw the Witch of the Falling Leaf Pub? That's actually another series I want to do sometime. Comment below if you want to see a series where I generate cards by name, and I just... Every card has to be related to the flavor text of the previous card. And I just go. I just spiral off like that. That's something I want to do one day. That sounds fun. Alright. Bone Picklers is a 1-mana vampire. It's black. It has Vigilance, Lifelink, and it's a 1/1. For 2 mana, creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. I love this. It's probably too powerful, but that's par for the course. It's AI magic. Everything's too powerful. It was the right choice then, and no mistake. Riel, New Vindictive. Cool. Ooh, I should generate the next card while I'm reading the flavor text of the previous card. That would be a good way of doing this. Devour in the Night is for 1 white is an instant. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. That's not a very white effect and not a very interesting. It's just do it, but okay, yeah, sure. I have no notes. The flesh was dark and clammy, the mind crazed with fear. They licked at the sweat of the monster's neck and ears hungry for any sign of life. Interesting. Malakir Trickster, for 1 blue, is an elf witch. Okay, so witch is not a creature type in Magic, but it should be, so I'm okay with it. Witch should be a creature type. Half of witches are wizards or warlocks or something else entirely. Sometimes they're shamans, I think. I don't know. There's just... Witches are all over the place, and they shouldn't be. They should be witches. Witches should be its own type. I know we already have warlocks and shamans and wizards, and that's a lot of different spellcasters, but dang it, witches should be their own type. Malakir Trickster, for 1 blue, is an elf witch. It's a 1/1, and it has sacrifice an enchantment, draw a card. That is weirdly specific. I really hope we see some enchantments, but this is the kind of thing where you're that's not very good. But throw that in a deck that wants a free sack outlet for enchantments, and suddenly it's the best card in the deck, because nothing else does that, really? Some things do, but it's not a free, no questions asked, sack outlet for enchantments. It's valuable because it's rare, right? I will try a cunning trick. The Malakir Trickster will try a cunning trick. Wild Ricochet, for X and a green, is an instant. Destroy target non-basic land. It can't be regenerated. You gain X life. This is boring. It's pretty reasonable in the whole idea of yep, it's... for 1 mana, you destroy non-basic land. If you pay X, you get life. It's using X, but still, it's boring. What's it say? Don't believe it's possible to miss an enemy twice in 1 turn? Lizolda, Hunter of Shadows. Please don't acknowledge turns. I'm rerolling this because X cards I feel need to be interesting enough to make it relevant to other X cards. Seeds of Chittel is a X and a green for a sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put 1 of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. That's a boring effect, but it is, pretty relevant, right? 1 mana, draw a card. 2 mana, draw the best of 2 cards. 3 mana, draw the best... Wait, no. No, that's not right. For 3 mana, it's draw the best of 2 cards. Because otherwise you're looking at top 0 cards of your deck. I'm going to reroll this one. You wouldn't expect something as vile as the blood in the little urchin's heart to sprout so sweetly, but this little prick has a nifty trick up its little pudding sleeve. That's amazing. Weakening Wave. Okay. For X and a green is an instant. Destroy target attacking or blocking creature with power X or less. Weakening Wave deals X damage to that creature. I didn't read the flavor text, I forgot. Ancestral Bonds. Is that a real card? That sounds like a real card. X and a green sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal any number of creature cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. Now that's much more interesting. I like this one. Kind of expensive when you actually start doing it, but it's every creature card you find. Yeah, that's way more fun. Much more fun card. I'm very curious if Ancestral Bonds is a real card or not. That sounds like a real card. Yeah. A plan unspoken, a purpose yet to be discovered. Sandstone Curio. For a black, you get a Goblin Rogue that's a 1/1. Sacrifice Sandstone Curio. It deals 2 damage to target creature you control. Wait, you control? I mean, that's kind of like a sack outlet. You just ping your own creature to kill it. It's probably not what you're looking for, but... okay. I'm gonna reroll it. I think it's too boring. Oh, I didn't read the text. Dang it. Vanquisher Rogue. For a black, you get a human rogue. It's a 1/1. Flash. You may have Vanquisher Rogue enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a warrior, cyclist, rogue, assassin, or shadow. I'm sorry, what do you mean by or? Or it's a shadow? What does that mean? She saw a soul of impurity wrapped knife, of an impurity wrapped knife, and went rogue. This is really good. It's too good. It's too good. I mean, no, I'm not vetoing it because it's too strong. There are going to be other strong things, but that pushes it pushes it over the edge. I've decided. Vine Gnarler, black, 1/1, Goblin Shaman. As long as you control a swamp, Vine Gnarler gets +1/+1 on his flying. It's a 1-mana 2/2 with flying. That's... yeah, okay. Goblin Shaman. From an inch-high gnarl of thorns comes the sweetest of sweet nothings. Sayla Deathwitch said this. Crazed Goblin. For a 1 white is a Goblin Warrior. There's a lot of goblins in this set. It's a 1/1. Whenever Crazed Goblin becomes blocked, it gets -2/-2 until end of turn. That's... if you live long enough to tell your story, the ones who killed you won't have their tongues. Think about that. Autumn Leaves. For a white, you get a 1/1 spirit. Aw, that's cute. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 2 or more creatures with different powers, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. That's awesome. It's very cheap, but it doesn't come online until, like, what, turn, 3, probably? It's kind of like a weaker, or not weaker, actually, a stronger, a less constraining version of... I forgot the name of that effect. Coven? Coven. Cool. How beautiful, a child in the world of men. Senya, daughter of Atraxa. Soul Reaver Elder. For a green is an elf druid. It's a 1/1, it taps for black. Cool. I enjoy that. I don't have any notes. It implies that it goes into like a green-black deck. I like green-black. I'm into it. The souls of the dead do not belong to the unquiet dead. They belong to the sun-bleached sands of Zendikar. I don't know why I'm getting so many cards where the art is like clearly inspired by a Magic card, but like rendered better. I guess, is it gonna put the word Innistrad? Does like the Wombo API know that like Innistrad is a Magic thing or something? Cultivate or Splice. 1 blue, instant, you gain a life. We're rerolling that. Not only is it boring, I'm certainly not gonna rerun. I'm certainly not gonna reroll every split card that doesn't function because there are no split cards. But that one was especially boring. I don't even know what the name was implying. Ooh, this is fancy art though. I like this. Raven Familiar. Blue for a 1/1 bird. It has flying. Whenever Raven Familiar or another bird creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Birds are relevant in this format! Yeah! Oh, I love that! To prey upon the night, and perhaps one another, Raven's flock feeds on more than its fair share of hapless prey. That's great. I love that. That was excellent. Keep up that. Wicked Wish. That's a great name. For a black is an instant. Choose target opponent. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you gain 3 life. 1 mana gain 3 life. Honestly, I don't know what life gain goes for. Like, we all know that there's that whole, like, new players overvalue life gain and then they lose every game because they can't actually win, and it's like, is this relevant? I like it. It's a 1 mana card. It's not like it's really ruining your deck too much. It'll give you a little bit of healing. Do you have to have power 4 or greater? You can't even just play it on 1. Now reroll it. Fine. I like that name a lot, though. I want that name. Cinderhoof Prowler is a 1 mana goblin warrior for some reason. It's a 1/1 when Cinderhoof Prowler enters the battlefield. Destroy target non-artifact creature? Just 1 mana kill spell? I'm gonna reroll this. Yeah. Well, it doesn't look hopeful that I'm gonna get through the whole set today. I'm being too picky. Ravenous Rats is a 1 mana insect druid. Yeah? Okay. It's a 1/1 with flying, and when Ravenous Rats enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. I mean, this card's fine. It's just, it's called Ravenous Rats, and it is an insect druid. What? It in the art is just a guy? What is this? The little rodents of Innistrad think only of ratting and rapture. Outland Partisan for a black is a 1/1 elf druid. Whenever Outland Partisan becomes blocked, untap it. Outland Partisan deals 1 damage to any target. Huh. That's powerful, actually. That's cool. I'm into that. That's fun. The druids saw that which their druidic rituals failed. Oh, the druids saw that their druidic rituals failed. Now, the wolves watch for a better opportunity. Fallen Heroes, for 1 black, is an instant. For a black, whatever. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain that much life. Like until end of turn, or it just gains it? It just gains that. Our curse is honor, my dear. You're going to be dead in 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. Stitcher Falcon. Sergeant of the Seer's Vanguard. Am I okay with this? It gives it to the creature with there's no end. It's not like for the rest of the game. It's just, it gains it. But like, also, I don't know. I feel like that's not that weird. Like, for some reason, a floating +1/+1 feels weird to me. But like, yeah, the creature gained this thing. That's a thing they gained. I don't love it enough not to re-roll it. Let's re-roll it. You know what I should have done? I should have started at the expensive ones instead of starting at the cheap ones. I remember someone leaving a comment saying, hey, I'd love to see more high-priced things. So maybe we'll start at the bottom and work our way up after this. Solemnity is a 1-mana instant. It says something that I can't read. And it's flashback 3. Yeah, no, that text is just gone. Well, we'll come back to that later. Let's jump to the bottom of this page. Unfortunately, this card's going to be cut off. Nothing I can do about that. Apologies. You're just going to have to believe me when I say that this is a... Why is this 3 mana? Did I make a mistake? I might have made a mistake when I made this... Well, crap. Apparently I made a mistake. Colossal Giant is a 3-mana giant. It's a 5/4. I kind of love that. It's just a vanilla 5/4. The fate of colossal giants depends on how well they can control their immense size. Alright, let's actually... Yeah, it looks like maybe I made a mistake. I probably didn't copy every page, right? There's probably 2 pages of results, and I only copied the first page into my spreadsheet. That's a shame, but it's not a big deal. It just means that we're only going to 3 today. Oops. Mudworm. For 3 mana is a horror. It's a 1/1 with tap, add, colorless. For 3 mana, Mudworm deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. I mean, if you have infinite mana, that just kills somebody. There's no like tapping involved. That's pretty powerful. Once known only for their irresistible songs, they're more the terror of the sea. Oh, they're now the terror of the sea. Sure. What I've discovered is that trying to get like an interesting sort of the more the mana cost is, the harder it is to get a card that feels like appropriately powered level. Like your 1-mana cards are likely going to be broken because it's really easy to have something too powerful for 1 mana, but everything else is like probably going to be too like it's going to be the opposite. Yeah. Delver of Secrets. That's a real card. 3 mana, red human wizard. It's a 2/1 with tap. Target player reveals their hand. That player discards all the cards in it, then reveals the top card of their library. We see through your lies. They hide nothing. I guess not. Trickster's Entourage is a 3-mana Goblin Shaman. It's a 2/1. Whenever Trickster's Entourage attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Yeah! Great. Love it. If you can read... Sorry, what does that say? If you can't read... Guess the spell means guess the symbol on the end of this card's name. That's what that means. Yeah. I was doing the thing where I had this sort of a very smooth transition from card to card, and it got all crunchy, so we're using scroll wheel now. Retribution Sire is a 3-mana, that's 1 white for a 2/3 human wizard. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. This is pretty powerful. She thinks it's her due. You think it's her right. Goblin Pitfighter. For generic black-red, is a 1/1 Goblin Shaman. It has Vigilance, and for 2 mana, one of which has to be a black, Goblin Pit Fighter gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's probably pretty bad. And it's got 2 colors. Yeah, I'll re-roll this one. I would like the 2 color cards to be better than that. Raise Mummy is a 3 mana 2/3 giant shaman. The picture is a series of magic cards. Okay. Whenever Raise Mummy deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. Ooh, the at random part is actually significant. It's super rare to see at random when it comes to discarding effects. And that makes them way more brutal. As they turned to face the armies of Set, their sire shrank from the sight. Pumped Up Marauder. That's so good. Is a 3 mana 2/2 human pirate. Oh, I love that. Need more pirates in Innistrad. That's what I think. Whenever Pumped Up Marauder enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Whenever Pumped Up Marauder attacks, draw a card. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good, yeah. It's pretty good. It likes the Marauders prepped and pumped. It really does, whatever it is. Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. We got Emrakul, everybody. They're here. Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn is a 3 mana 2/2 Drake. They've got flying, and for 1 and a blue, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. A board-wide fire breathing is pretty good. And they're a flyer? Emrakul? I don't know what happened to you to make you, like, into a Drake? Maybe this is like a fragment of Emrakul, which manifested as a Drake. I don't know, but it looks good on you. It had not even dawned on her that she had somehow fallen from the sky, for the ascent to this place was no more difficult than a morning flight to the crest of a tree. Yeah, something happened. Emrakul didn't even notice. Dang. Arcing Blackjack is a 3 mana 3/1 orc pirate. It's red, it has flash. When Arcing Blackjack enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's not bad. It's got flash. It's a 3/1. Yeah, I like it. The red robes rarely show themselves. What you'll see is what they'll get away with. Harson the Bold. Ears of Hana Scout is a 3 mana 2/2 elf scout. They're green. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, you gain 2 life. I mean, I don't think we've seen any self-discard yet, but I wouldn't put it past it. We've already seen some force your opponent to discard, so that's pretty cool. When Hana took to the air, she became more like her home. Wow, that's beautiful. Also, apparently I didn't click on this card. Oops. There we go. Skeletal White is a 3 mana elemental. Yeah, that seems reasonable. They're a 1/2 with hexproof, and for green, regenerate Skeletal White. That's rad. Every battle ends in bones. Wall of Soot for generic blue is a 2/3 elemental. They have flying, and whenever Wall of Soot blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, destroy it at end of combat. The creature or the Wall of Soot? I do like a destroy at end of combat effect. It means, like, it doesn't just, like... It's basically Death Touch at that point, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this card a lot, actually. I'm a little bit unsure about who it in this sentence is. All life in the woods seems to live and breathe in time with the trees. Daros, the Peacekeeper. Gilded Eddy. Hey, it's Gilded Eddy! This is one of those cards that someone like, people like nickname. Because it's Eddy. Of course it's Eddy. It's Eddy. For generic red-green is an elemental 1/1 with flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Gilded Eddy gets +2/+2 until end of turn. That is very powerful, actually. But an appropriately small starting body, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. The Lesser Gilded reads, cannot mask the wind, but they cannot hide it either. That's just said the same thing twice, but that's fine. Phyrexian Eruption is a 3-mana Phyrexian minion. It's a 1/1, and for black, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn, but activate only once each turn. Do you know what that means? It's useless! It's an overpriced 2/2. Sorry, Phyrexian minion, you don't make the cut. Spook Riders? Or maybe it's Spooky Riders. I'm not sure. It's a 3-mana 2/2 orc. For black, Spook Riders gets +1/+1 as long as an opponent controls an artifact. So we've seen this before on other cards, and I've always ruled that yes, in fact, this tells us our end goal, our like when the effect ends, and therefore it's actually a perfectly reasonable effect. It's hard to track. It's like I spend black to get +1/+1, and as long as an opponent controls an artifact, that effect will stay. So if you have like a treasure and I give +1/+1, and then you sacrifice that treasure, I'm gonna lose that +1/+1, right? Assuming you don't have any other artifacts. So it's, even though like very strong, it's also very like it's reliant on your opponent. If you had that one guy that could like give your opponent blood tokens, that would be interesting. But then again, they just need to crack them. I like this card. I think this card's actually okay. It might be broken, but still. They attack only from behind. The dead are no longer silent. Silverblade Adept for generic green-white is a 2/2 spirit. It has flying. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, Silverblade Adept gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Cool. We have kind of like a little cycle here, weirdly. This is getting +2/+2. This one got +2/+2 when it becomes a non-creature spell. That makes this one just better than the other one. But this one starts as a 2/2 instead of starting as a 1/1, so it's like maybe fair. I don't know. Interesting. In my hands, in your heart, you shall not see. You shall only feel. Circle of Protection. Okay, sure. Just Circle of Protection. Is a 3-mana green 1/3 human shaman. It has protection from artifacts. As Circle of Protection enters the battlefield, you may reveal a card name written. You may reveal a card name written on it. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. I don't know what that means. Thorncreep Worm is a 3-mana worm. It's a 3/3. That's it. That's it. Well, that's it. I would be very cool with like a vanilla worm, but that wasn't it. Flourishing Crater Plant is a 3-mana plant worm, spelled with an O. It's a 4/4 with, at the beginning of each combat, if you attacked with creatures with total power 4 or greater, this combat, Flourishing Crater Plant gains indestructible until end of turn. But that happens at the beginning of each combat. This is a 3-mana 4/4 that says, if another effect gives you multiple combat steps, on the second one, you could possibly trigger this effect. That is unnecessarily complicated and very fringe beneficial. So, it's really a 3-mana 4/4. Its delicate shoots unfurl at a fast rate, but their roots wait for just the right time to emerge and bring the plant to new heights. The slow scroll works so much better when I'm going down, because then you can see the text the whole time when it's just the image getting cut off, whereas this is not that. Serpentine Ultimatum is a 3-mana Phyrexian horror. I feel like there's not enough Pumpkinfolk witches. That's my problem with this deck so far, or set. For 2, it's a 2/1 menace. For 2 mana, regenerate Serpentine Ultimatum. Sure. Yeah, sure. The gut of a newt has a heart of poisonous lava. The gall of a bat has a mind of vengeance. Release and Revel. No, wait. Release and Revel. For a generic green and blue is an instant. Return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hands. That's quite good. Oh, let the lightning crackle and the fire rain down. Let the fools sleep and die. Chandra Nalar. Chandra Nalar said that. Hey, it's Porcupine Rogue, a 3-mana 1/2 Orc Rogue with Delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting the spell pays for 1 generic. Okay. For 2 mana, Porcupine Rogue gets +1/+1 to end of turn. Okay. The razor's blade slits its victims as readily as it pierces its own flesh. That's not really appropriate to what the card does, but that's okay. Golgari or Lich, huh? You sure about that one? 3 mana, 3/2 zombie wizard. It's blue, it has flying, and for 3 mana, sacrifice a creature. Target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Like, it's cool, but wow. Like ghosts, Golgari rise again. I'm gonna veto it on names. I know that's like a really boring reason to veto a card, but whatever. Improvised Gear Crafters is a 3-mana Goblin Artificer. That sounds good. It's a 2/2. When Improvised Gear Crafters enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Is that good enough? I think I'm okay with it even if it's not good enough. All weapons require frequent upkeep. How does that jade clock of yours work? Who said that? Muzahar, Mayor of Drawneth. Cool. Prowling Gob is a 3-mana plant zombie. Nice! Is green. It's a 2/2 with reach. Prowling Gob gets +2/+2 as long as you control another zombie. I love it. Beautiful card. It scuttles and snaps its victims in its mindless fervor. Pumpkin Witches is a 3-mana goblin. Wait, Pumpkin Witches? Pumpkin Witches is a 3-mana goblin. It's a 3/2. When Pumpkin Witches enters the battlefield, if you control an enchantment, creatures you control gain. This creature can't block until end of turn. What? If you control an enchantment, something bad happens. Bark on it, Chipper. My pumpkins have fangs. Well, that was our most interesting pumpkin card so far, and we gotta reroll it. Erstwild Night. Is that a real card? That sounds familiar. 3-mana, 2/3, human knight. Flying. As long as Erstwild Night is enchanted... Wait, is enchanted land. Creatures you control have vigilance and lifelink. I'm going to try that one again. Scrap Basket Scob is a 3-mana, 2/2 vampire. With flying. Tap, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Wow, that's very powerful. It's surprisingly easy to discard junk when you don't want it anymore. It's true. Interrogative Mystic is a 3-mana, 1/1 human wizard. Tap. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a card from it and exile that card. That is very strong. Wow. It's a 1/1. Yeah, that's probably fine. I don't know if it's fine, Darcy. It's good enough. Let's go. The Empress's brow is both shorn and swept clean. Dismantle is a 3-mana instant that says destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's probably fine. I just think it's boring. Just the one, I promise. Gerard Goblin Weaver. Elemental Servant is a 3-mana spirit, not an elemental. It's a 2/3 with, when Elemental Servant dies, each player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Wait, each player? So really each opponent loses 2 life, but if you have things that care about life gain, they all kick? Or life lost, they all kick. Yeah, alright, sure. I'm fine with that. They have an aura of calm that soothes all but the most intransigent souls. Intransigent. Don't use that word very often. Oops, I went too far up. There we go. Pumpkin Dung Heap. I didn't spell pumpkin wrong, did I? You spelled the word Pumpkinfolk. One word. Oh yeah, so no, not real. Okay. Pumpkin Dung Heap is a 3-mana, 2/2 goblin. Whenever Pumpkin Dung Heap becomes blocked, destroy all other creatures blocking it. All other creatures? Like, not itself. That is... So, basically it's unblockable, right? Because if you block it with 2, like, it kills... Well, not necessarily. It's every block is a chump block. Yeah, it means that every block is a chump block. Cool. Because it still blocks. It just... Yeah. It grows and turns to dust in a few days. Then, the gutter goblins scatter it over the sewer for a week. For use as fertilizer. That's nice. Hello? I'm gonna reroll this. No one call me a prude in the comments. I'm gonna reroll this. Pristine Locksodon is a 3-mana 2/2. It's a centaur. Sure. Sure, it's a centaur. For a green, sacrifice Pristine Locksodon. It deals 2 damage to any target. I'm going to reroll that one too. Murph Hero is a 3-mana human warrior. Am I going to reroll this one as well? It's a 2/3. As long as Murph Hero is equipped, it gets +2/+2. And has flying and has trample, which means it can attack and green mana as long as it has tramplers. Yes, I am going to have to reroll this card, actually. How right you were, Darcy. Whipfin Boar is a 3-mana elemental. Cool. It's a 2/2. Whipfin Boar can't attack unless the defending player controls a mountain. So it's an overpriced bear that can't attack. Good. That's exactly what I wanted. Swarm Spiders is a 3-mana 2/2 spider. Okay, we got some spiders. Swarm. This creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. That's what swarm means. No, it can't even be blocked by creatures with swarm. For green, regenerate swarm spiders. This card's bust. I mean, this card. I mean, okay. Here's the question, right? If you go, okay, as much as that doesn't make any sense, there's something to be said for a keyword that means, like, this can't be blocked as if it had flying. Like, flying, but this creature can't block flyers. That's basically what this card means, right? It means flying, but this creature can't block flyers. Cool. Is that interesting? Whatever, I'm going to keep going. If it's your job to set up the spider web, make sure you leave plenty of bait for the bugs to find. Gingitaxia said that. Goblin Alchemist is a 3-mana spider. I feel like this has been one of the least focused sets that I've made so far. Maybe it's because I didn't choose a creature type to base it around. Like, I mean, Slivers of Ravnica was about slivers, and Eldrazi Oceans was about Eldrazi. But, like, I ran a couple test runs to see if this was gonna work, and I actually made something with, like, the creature type Pumpkinfolk, and I thought that was really funny, and nope. Said we've got this Goblin Alchemist, which is a spider. It also has reach, which means this creature can block creatures with flying. That checks out. And goblin spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. This is not a goblin spell, though. Just, this is not one. This is not one. You think it's funny that people play around dressed as goblins and try to get money from tourists? I do not see the joke. Wait a minute, so is this actually a spider that's dressed as a goblin? Did the flavor text just save this card? Why is it a spider? Well, it's a spider because it's a creature with reach, obviously. Lilias Defeat is a creature, not like a sorcery or instant or something weird. Although that would have been really cool, but I'll keep reading. 3-mana 2/2 Human Cleric. It's a white spell. For white and tap, destroy target enchantment. For white and tap, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Activate only if Lilias Defeat was dealt this turn. Swampcraft Assassin is a 3-mana vampire. It's a 2/2. It has Death Touch, which means any amount of damage that is dealt, this deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. That's accurate. Good. Whenever Swampcraft Assassin deals combat damage to a creature, put a -1/-1 counter on it. Wait, like on Swampcraft Assassin? Or on the creature? I never know what this means. Which I don't think this is incorrectly worded. I just don't know. Like, a judge would have to tell me. If it's the creature they're attacking, then that's irrelevant. That creature's dead. Unless it's indestructible. Unless it's indestructible, that's fair. Whenever Swampcraft Assassin deals combat, if it hits itself, then it's just like a very expensive, slowly dying death touch. But it would probably die anyway, because it was it hit somebody, right? True. I'm gonna re-roll it. I think it's kind of cool, I just don't understand. I'm confused. That's the reason why. Banishing Light is a 3-mana instant. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Okay, sure. They are trying to hurt me. I will stop them. Gisela said that. Chupacabra is a 3-mana bat horror. That's cool. That's a cool interpretation of a Chupacabra. Also, this picture's rad, but not a Chupacabra. It's a 3-mana 3/1 flyer that can't block. Is that interesting? Kind of. It's kind of interesting. It's like having Swarm. This creature has Swarm, but also can't block other things, so, you know, whatever. A vampire bat never questions the directions of its flight. It knows only to hang on, always ready, to feast on the first person to get in its way. I did not know that about vampire bats. Very interesting. Grimhaller is a 3-mana Goblin Shaman. It's, for generic black, is a 1/1. For tap, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Grimhaller. This card's really good. Holy crap. I love this. It's a 1/1. The fact that it takes a while to grow does make it less broken, but it's probably broken. Are there goblins on Innistrad? I feel like I've never seen a goblin on Innistrad. Is that true? I, for one, welcome goblins emerging from Innistrad. Why have we never seen them before? I don't know. They were doing their own thing. It's fine. This one's about goblins, apparently. He is an excellent judge of his size and speed. Gnarlwood Werewolf is a 3-mana, 3/2, human werewolf. Other werewolves you control get +1/+1. This is awesome. This is a great little lord. I love this. The power will stop to eat a stranger. But if the stranger smells like fresh kill, they'll rip his throat out. Abdelhak Karn, citizen of Arashin. I feel like some Magic fans will know what any of that meant, but I don't. Doomfall. That's a real spell, right? 3-mana white instant, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. You gain 3 life. Wow, that's great. That's just a really good spell right there. If they made this sorcery, it'd probably be, like, balanced. Instead, this card's just real pushed. In the Catacombs of Asphodel, hope finds strength in despair. Drawneth Magistrate is a 3-mana, generic green, elf shaman. It's a 2/2 with tap. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. That is such a powerful effect. I like it. The stars on the tips of my fingers give me might. What? Give me night vision. Oh, okay. Sure. Soul Harvest is a 3-mana zombie horror. It's so weird seeing these, like, this is clearly the name of, like, a non-creature spell, and the AI is like, no. This is a creature. This is a creature right here. This creature's named Soul Harvest. And I'm like, dang, I should do that. That's cool. I'm into it, actually. How dare you? 3 mana, 2/2 zombie horror. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Oh! Oh, that's rad! It's like one of those ones that's like ETB, everyone sacrifices a creature, except for you don't have to do it until the start of your next turn. And this thing might be dead by then. Oh, this is a rad card. Holy crap. Wow! Dang, that's cool. Those that want to remain among the living and let themselves be eaten by the undead. Is a soul harvest? Wait, what is that? I don't understand that sentence. That's fine. Double Demon Fire for generic red-white is an instant. Double Demon Fire deals 2 damage to target creature and 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. Come on, it's called Double Demon Fire. Do something cooler and maybe use like a doubling effect. Ah, that's disappointing. Burn and pray. That's what we do. And pray for fire. I like you, Gitu Elder. That's really good. Coven of Night is a 3 mana, 3/2 vampire. Once again, that is a generic red-white. Whatever. Coven of Night gets +1/+1 as long as you control a vampire. It is a vampire. Therefore, it's a 3 mana, 4/3. We're safe from sun, from wind, from cold, from thirst, and hunger. And our greatest danger. Rogue Archetype. I don't know why that tickled me. Wow. I don't know. That was really funny to me. Also, this art's rad. Dang. I hate it when it's so good. I mean, I love it, but I hate it. Generic red-white for an orc pirate. They're a 2/2 with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 red and white pirate creature token with flying. This is busted. And also good. And also bad. What the heck is this? There is no prize as sweet as freedom. Oracle on prize. So let's just say like on back and it says on prize or something. Is that what that is? That's really funny to me for some reason. I'm giddy suddenly. When did that happen? You Twistlings. That's such a good name. 3 mana blue elemental shapeshifter. It's a 3/3 with Morph 7. You may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3 and turn it face up for its morph cost. When you Twistling is turned face up, creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if I've ever seen the AI actually make a morph card with a when this is turned face up effect, so I'm just impressed. This is a 3 mana 2/2 or 3/3, your choice. And then later you can spend 7 to make your board hexproof. Which, like, I don't know how often you're going to have, like, there's going to be a reason to do that. And it's a very expensive effect. But, like, it's a pretty big effect. It's your entire board for a turn. It's way too... Yeah, it's too much. Like, the benefit is that you can play them either face up or not face up, and there's, like, no real reason to play it, like, normal face up. If this was just, like... The thing is, if you don't morph a card, it becomes vanilla, which means this is just a 3 mana 3/3, right? And it's way too expensive for its other effect. I guess it's kind of cool that it's like... It's like a 7 mana spell that you can, like, say, ooh, I don't have 7 mana. I just want a normal vanilla 3/3. You can do that. It's kind of cool. It's so expensive. Where can I turn that will not endanger me? Sidisi, Golden Muse. I went too far. Inscription Demon is a 3-mana spirit, of course. For a generic white, it's a 2/2 with flying. Tap target creature with power 3 or less. This is fine. Yeah. The curse on your people does not reach the shade of the clouded lantern. Go ahead. Ask the thing how long the damned have been dead. Hung Cruel Kessig Moon Clan. Invigorating Dive is a green and blue instant. Like you're going for a nice swim, you're just going to have a little dip and get invigorated. That's awesome. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For 2 mana? Yeah, that's reasonable. I like that. There's no real reason why it's not just look at the top 4 cards of your library and put a card in your hand. Like, it's an unnecessary restriction, but, like, it's probably never going to be relevant. Get over yourself. Mireball Reaver is a 2-mana 2/1 Phyrexian zombie. When Mireball Reaver dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So it's kind of like that zombie. I don't think I need to reroll this. I just want to. I'm just bored by it. Dregscape Broodmaster is a 2-mana 2/2 zombie wizard. When Dregscape Broodmaster enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I mean, that's just really good. Why fight over empty corpses? My clan owns them all. Dregscape Broodmaster. There you have it. Slagfin Slasher for black and a red is a 3/2 human wizard with flying and can't block. This is a trend. Flying but can't block is a trend. For 2 generic and a red, target player sacks a creature. That's pretty cool. It's a repeatable effect, but your opponent gets to choose what they sacrifice, so it's not as good as, like, Trade Destruction. That's probably not too broken, except for the fact that it is a 3/2 flyer, but whatever, it can't block. I guess that's a downside. I like it. I think it's fun. Slagfin was born without fear of his steel fingers. Bat of Despair is a 2-mana 1/1 bat. It has flying, and for 2 mana, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Holy crap, that's really strong! Just like, oh yeah, I can just spend 1/1 mana to kill your stuff per point of power and toughness it has. Wow, that's really good. That's oppressively good. When all else fails, run away. Yorick, Wizard of Amaka, said that. They're not wrong. Skulking Horror. Didn't we already see this card? Is a 2-mana Vampire Knight. They're white. They're a 2/1. They have flying. And whenever Skulking Horror deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token, which is an artifact with 1 tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. That's accurate. This is just good. This is just a nice card. Yeah. The first truly blood-sucking undead, those of Innistrad, learned how to keep themselves from drawing blood by forcing others to do it for them. What? Oh, it's another card within a card. Grave Widow, Gravekeeper, Tomb Raider. I mean, I'm gonna reroll this, but I want to see what it says. It's an Elf Scout for something. Probably 2 mana. It's a 2/1. When Grave Widow, Gravekeeper, and Tomb Raider enter the battlefield, exile up to 1 other target creature. Other target non-land card from your graveyard. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your turn, exile target creature you control. This is one of the most, it's every form of bad. It's a name that makes no sense. It's a cutoff mana value. The art is a picture of AI trying to reconstruct what a card looks like. And then it's only downside. In life, she trained to defend others from danger. But death finds its way into even the best defenses. That is wild. Rustgull Snarlfang. I like it. For green and a red is a 0/0 giant with haste. Rustgull Snarlfang enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of creatures you control. This card's rad. Oh, I love this card. This card's cool. Does that mean it's a minimum of 1? Does it see itself? I think it does. You control it while the effect is resolving, so it would be a 1/1 at minimum. This card's great. Also, it's nice to see a second giant, because we know that giants are a thing that's in the set. That's cool. Greetings, travelers. There has been a power surge. Let's hope it lasts. Ghost Lit Cauldron is a 2 mana 1/2 Merfolk Rogue. I thought that art was going to look really cool, and then it did whatever that was right at the end. Ghost Lit Cauldron can't block. For blue, Ghost Lit Cauldron can't be blocked this turn only. Huh. That's cool. Yeah. Sure. Animated Crockery makes all the difference. It's a Merfolk Rogue as well. I feel like I should mention that. Abattoir Ghoul is a 2 mana 1/1 Phyrexian zombie. When Abattoir Ghoul enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black Phyrexian horror creature token. It's like that other card, but worse. Which is fine, but it's boring. This isn't even a bad card. It's just we already made one that's a 2 mana 2/2 that makes a 2/2. Which anyway, I'm gonna reroll this. Good name though. Yeah, that's true. Crop Rotation is a 2 mana zombie knight. It's a 2/2 for 1 and a blue. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay, cool. So it's this effect again, where it's fire breathing for your whole team. That is terrifying. He sees only 2 years of the harvest cycle. The rest is a living nightmare. Blood Petite. Aw, that's a cute name. Is a 2 mana 2/2 spider with reach. It's green for 2 and a green. Blood Petite gains flying until end of turn. Huh. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with reach that can jump. It's fine. Yeah. The art of an artist's trade, is creating beautiful models for them to fill with gruesome, ghastly details. As an artist, I agree. Timely Cure is a 2 mana instant. It's white, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to any target this turn, and it has cycling. Normally I would think this card is boring and dumb, and I I generally do think this card is boring and dumb. But it has cycling. And we made a card earlier that cared about when you discard or cycle a card. And so it makes me really tempted to keep it. I mean, at bare minimum, it's 1 mana draw a card, which is not terrible. I guess the best use case of this is, like, after damage is assigned, you can be like, prevent the 1 damage that would death touch kill my guy or something. It's any target. So you could... Yeah, I mean, often this is just going to keep a creature alive, right? It's like, cool, I'm going to, you know, hit your guy for exact damage. And you go, cool, I prevent 1 damage. That's all you need to prevent. It's not a huge effect, but it's an instant speed effect like that. Yeah, that's reasonable. For the alternative history fans, the Witch Hunter sorcery is simply another example of that city's abhorrent anti-witch hysteria. Trowel Ranger is a 2-mana goblin rogue. It's a 1/1. Trowel Ranger enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it if you didn't cast it from your hand. Interesting. Whenever Trowel Ranger attacks, another target attacking goblin you control can't be blocked this turn. Cool. I like this card. Weird effect that ETB is very odd, but that's okay. Goblin mobs don't stand a chance. Volrath, the Gravetide, for some reason, is talking about this. I don't know. Outrider Spirit for X black. I recognize that mana cost. Is a 2/2 spirit with flying. When Outrider Spirit dies, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. No! No thank you. I would like to use the X, please. Please give me a card that uses the X. Punishment Ray is a very funny name. X black for a sorcery. Punishment Ray deals X damage to each creature and each player. That is... oddly similar to Meathook Massacre, to be honest. It's just like... spend X, anything with X toughness dies. But it also hits face, which is kind of cool, and it doesn't stick around. Yeah, I like this. I think it's fun. I like it. It's good. Oh, what's the description? A Naga who becomes consumed by the flame of revenge. I don't know what that has to do with that card, but that's okay, I guess. Evermore Elder. For generic and green, again, we got a card that looks like a card. As an elf shaman, it's a 1/1. Whenever you gain life, draw a card. Holy crap, that's good! She knows all about those pesky Strigoi. What? Strigoi. If that's a real word, I do not know it. This is a cool card. This art is terrible. Is that a good enough reason to reroll this card? I like this card. I'm going to reroll it. You all here? You got to see it. Grovile's Presence. Isn't that a Pokemon? For generic and a green is a plant elemental. When Grovile's Presence dies, each opponent loses 2 life. It's otherwise a 2/2. This is a very boring bear, but like, it's fine. Yeah. Grovile provides his species with anything and everything they need to survive. Okay. Butcher Ghoul, for generic and black, is a 1/1 zombie. For black, regenerate Butcher Ghoul. That's probably good and very boring, and I'm going to reroll it. Infernal Gloom Boosters. That's a great name. Generic black, 1/1 Goblin Rogue. As long as you control no other creatures, Infernal Gloom Boosters gets +2/+1 and has flying. So it's a 2-mana 3/2 with flying? Huh. Is that good enough for having such a steep restriction? I can't tell. It's fun, though. It's fun enough I want to keep it, and the art's pretty cute. Their ebon vessels groan with unnatural weight. Cemetery Drone is a 2-mana zombie. It's a 2/2. That's it. The eyes of a cemetery drone are the eyes of death. No one is certain where it came from or what it sees, but many believe it has the ability to look right through them and into the soul. Wow. That's so deep. Hagramoot is a bird witch. Yeah, bird witch, bird witch. For generic and blue is a 1/2 flying. That's not how you say that. Whenever Hagramoot attacks, untap target creature. I could never say no to Hagramoot. Hagra chuckles with the rising sun, but takes no pleasure in it. She is afraid of the rising sun, for it is her nemesis. I'm not exactly sure what that card is because it wasn't legendary, so it's not like it's a legendary creature named Hagramoot. I wish it was, though. Old Gnarlid is a 2-mana 2/2 spirit. It has flying, and for white, Old Gnarlid gets +1/+1 until end of turn. What? I mean, I kind of love this. It's just a 2-mana 2/2 with flying, but if that 1 point will like win you the game, like do it, right? That's like kind of it though. It takes a number of acorns equal to your wisdom. A tree full of them gives you the strength of many. Skittering Jackals is a 2-mana human cleric. It's a 2/2 with 2-mana, tap, target creature you control gains flying until end of turn. Reminder text, activate only during your upkeep and only once each turn. That's not how reminder text works. Let's try that again. Samite Sorcerer is a 2-mana human witch. Yes. Witch. Make witch a real type. It's a 1/1. When Samite Sorcerer enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. The one thing that AI sets really do is they have absolutely no respect for tokens, and they will just have every card make its own token with no like connection across cards. For white, black, put target spirit or creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Ew. I mean, it's, like, useful, but, like, just put it in my hand. Come on. Ew. Hunt for Fangs. For generic and white is an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Rebound. If you cast the spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. That's a pretty cool card. Yeah, I like that. Bird to eat. Dog to choose. To chase, sorry. When I hunt for my fangs, they do not fret. Zelgian Oracle of Darklinks. Ghoulcaller's Colony. It's a good name. 2 generic artifact creature golem. That's fun. It's a 2/1 with, as long as it's your turn, Ghoulcaller's Colony has, when this creature enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target player or planeswalker. So what you mean to say is... Wait, I don't know, actually. Like, does that line of text apply, like, while it's on the stack? Like, does it gain that text before it's entered the battlefield? Right? Card's cool. Let's try again. Either way, it's going to be, you know, too colorless or too generic for a 2. Yeah, you know what I meant to say. Domri Raid is a 2 generic human cleric. It's a 1/1 with generic and green. Domri Raid deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. No. Haunting Hood is a 2-mana artifact equipment. Ooh. Haunting Hood enters the battlefield with a ghost attached to it. What? Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has first strike. So, what I think this is supposed to say, and it's actually a really cool effect, right? Is it's like Living Weapon, right? Except for instead of it being like the weapon is just being controlled by the like Phyrexian oil that's within it. And so it's the germ token that you create. This is like create a ghost token and equip this to it, right? But the ghost token doesn't exist. It didn't tell us to make a ghost token. That would have been cool. Like, I like the idea of this, like, oh, it's this haunted hood. It's this ghostly, you know, like, it's just armor. It's just armor, and it's, you know, being animated by the ghost, and you kill the ghost, then you can put the armor on. Like, that is a fun trope. And I don't think I've seen a card that really, like, captures that. But this failed, so, you know. It's a cool idea, though. You could definitely use that if you're just trying to use AI as prompts for your own custom designs. Clockwork Servant is a 2-mana artifact. It's a cool picture. For 2 and tap, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token with lifelink. Wait, why does it have lifelink? This card's great, but why? This artifact is all too happy to serve. Nicholas Ravdal. It's because it's happy. That's why. Morbid Blood Cleric is a 2-mana human cleric. Cool. Dang. I wonder if they updated the, like, Wombo API. This art's so much cooler than usual. It's a 2-mana 2/1 human cleric. Morbid Blood Cleric can't block. Dang it. It's a weak bear that can't block. This is got a lot of text though. You cannot approach me for at least 3 rounds. Oh dang, it's one of those flavor texts that like is written as if it's about the game you're playing. At the end of the 3rd round, you'll see the error of your ways, and upon my signal, the hallways of Innistrad will reek of the corrupted. Innistrad Seeker statues. This card's a mess. Trespassing Sorcerer. For generic and red is a human wizard. It's a 1/1. Tap, target player mills a card. Sure. My family was on their way to see the Duke's Theatre. I made sure to bring the best of everything. A wizard who mingles in with the commoners? You'd think that would ever be welcome? There were some question marks involved in that. Sheevan Reef is a... This picture's so weird. What? I like it, but it has nothing to do with the prompt. I guess it's like, I mean, it has to do with the prompt Pumpkinfolk Witches, but it has nothing to do with Sheevan Reef or... Yeah, weird. 2 mana, 2/2, elemental. It has Island Walk. Okay. For 2 mana, target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. I mean, I'm not a fan of Island Walk, but if you just told me this was a 2 mana 2/2 that's unblockable, I would have been like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Meh. The island is the ground, the reef, the sea, and the spires, the sky. Bird Witch, Bird Witch, Bird Witch. Cockatrice is a 2 mana 2/2 Bird Witch. It has flying, and when Cockatrice dies, return it to its owner's hand. Yes! No creature with more than 2 swamps can claim Cockatrice. That's flavor text. That doesn't mean anything, but okay. Gluttonous Goblin is a 2 mana 2/1 goblin. As long as Gluttonous Goblin is enchanted, it gets +1/+0 and has menace. Huh! That's interesting. It's cool seeing, like, enchantments matter. You don't see that a ton. It's 2 mana 2/1. That's bad. If you enchant it, it's a 2 mana 3/1 with menace. Which is kind of cool, right? Like, if you have menace, you care way more about your power than your toughness, because your plan is to just not get blocked. Yeah, sure. It's probably weak, but I'm okay with that. You gotta have some weak cards. Oh, did I not read it? The greedy goblin covets only its bellyfuls. The belief of the multitudes, they get the scraps. There you have it. Slinking Rootwater Snipers is a 2 mana goblin rogue. It's a 1/1 with sacrifice Slinking Rootwater Snipers. It deals 2 damage to target creature. Okay. I mean, at bare minimum, this is just a 2 mana deal 2 damage, which is, like, fine. That's, like, totally reasonable. But you can also pay that 2 mana early and then have it sit around, and then for free you can do that later after you've gotten value out of it, or even if you haven't gotten value out of it. Yeah, it's fine. The average pirate washes ashore only to die a painful death. Captain Flint said that. Somehow. I guess. Aki Predator is a 2 mana human wizard. It's a 2/2 with, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Aki Predator is in your graveyard, create a 2/2 blue dinosaur creature token. Oh, that's so busted. What? Oh, crap. There's no react. What do you do to that? You have to exile? You have to have graveyard exile for this? Oh, that's way too strong. If this was like that one black card, I can't remember their name. It's the wizard that makes 2/2 decayed zombies, but only if you don't have a creature with decayed. That would be cool, right? Like, it makes one if you don't already have one. That wouldn't be so bad. It would still be really brutal, but it wouldn't be nearly as bad as this is. Holy crap. The others just watch the ground. We move like the wilds of nature. Aki said that. Steam Siege for blue and a black is an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may reveal a food or an equipment card from your hand. If you revealed a food, draw 2 cards. If you revealed equipment, draw 3 cards. This card's awesome. I mean, there are food cards. They're just rare, right? Like, Gingerbread's a food card. They're just like, if this set like was full of food cards, that would be really cool. You know what might be a fun idea? Like, forge like 50 cards, and then you have to like build the rest of the set yourself. Like as a prompt for an AI set, you make 50 cards, and then you get to like go, ooh, cool, here's a card here that cares about food. I'm going to make some food cards to synergize it with later. Haha. Unfortunately, this probably should be like If it's an equipment, draw 2. If it's a food, draw 3. Because it's harder to have a food card in your hand, so there's a bigger reward for it. On the other hand, it means you're not missing out on the better effect, because you're going to put this in a deck that has equipment. Like, that's just what you're going to do. I like this card. This card's rad. To befriend the Yarok, Gerard had to fight and sacrifice the vengeful Steam Witch. Oh, dang, are we going to see Steam Witch? Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, I want to do a set where I just, like, make 20 cards, make 50 cards, and then make the rest of the cards. Maybe I still do it all with AI. Maybe I still do the AI cards. I just do them by name instead after that point. But then I can't fix the mana cost. Ugh. Or like even mana color, let alone cost. Twilight Harvest is a 2-mana 1/1 spirit. It has flying, and whenever Twilight Harvest deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It's every time. Loots every time, and it has flying. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. Cool. The light and the dark are never far apart. Nemen. Golden Aura is a 2-mana Merfolk Wizard. It's a 2/1 with, when Golden Aura dies, you may return target Merfolk Wizard card from your graveyard to your hand. That's incredibly specific. Did we already see a Merfolk Wizard? We saw a Merfolk. I don't remember what they were. Might have been a Shaman, actually. I don't remember. The Oceans of Innistrad, never truly dusk. What? The gold light is a mere glimmer compared to the otherworldly energies that surround them. Boiling Offerings. That's a great name for a card. For black and a white, destroy target artifact or enchantment. But it also has Fuse, which means you can cast one or both halves of this card from your hand. Okay. Cool. Honestly, we're moving close to the end of my time today. As you may know, I stream these on Twitch, and as such, when I run out of when the stream schedule's over, I just close the stream. So unfortunately, we have not been able to do a full set in one sitting before. Maybe I'll put a pin in this one and come back to it later, instead of trying to, you know, do it off screen, which I usually finish my ones off stream. I think I'll probably do that for this one. Although, honestly, I might just scrap it all. I'm just not super thrilled with the direction it's gone so far. So let me know in the comment if you'd like to see the rest of this series, this set, the Pumpkinfolk Witches of Innistrad, or if you'd rather me just start a new one next time. Love to hear that. Blinding Screech is a red and white vampire wizard. It's a 2/1 with, when Blinding Screech enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain flying until end of turn. That could actually be very, very strong. Okay. The Bright Blades of the Blade Vaulters have become my heralds, announcing my coming to a world blinded by fear and ignorance. Erstwild Night of Gnarlus. Have a good night, everyone. I've been DarcyBits. This has been Urza's AI with Pumpkinfolk Witches of Innistrad. Have a good night.